My team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Overhead Tour Company of St. Louis. The genuine, the original. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
It's great to be back in studio with Chris Ranji. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Don't ask me. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm living the dream.
You're on cloud, what is it, cloud 9?
Cloud 9.
Why is it cloud 9? What happened to the other 8? And congratulations to you, because it's a national football championship for your Hoosiers. Not St. Louis Hoosiers, but the Indiana Hoosiers, who I said this to you yesterday when you were on the phone checking in from Miami. And I can't believe it. I know that you can't believe it either, that you went to college, you went to Indiana, you spent all that time there, you've been a graduate since the 90s, and they win a football championship before they win a basketball championship during that time. Yeah. I think that's stunning. Stunning.
I mean, we even talked about back for years, would you give up one of the national championships in basketball for a football one? And one of my friends said, I'd give back 2.
Yeah, because it's...
Give me a football championship. This, Chris, is game-changing for Indiana University and for any university. To win a college football championship, I could sit here and talk. Let's say Matt Pajeski was not a sports fan, and we were just hanging out, and I said, boy, that game on Saturday at Iowa, man, did they play well. I mean, they attacked the zone. They could not have been and he would stare back with a blank face because he's not watching college basketball like I am. He doesn't care about Indiana, Iowa on a Saturday afternoon at Carver, Hawkeye. But if I said, hey, Matt, I went to Indiana University, be like, oh, my gosh, that Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers and college football. It is an incredible branding for the university, then will change them forever. Will change the fan base forever. Will change those players forever. There's nothing better unless you are, winning a Super Bowl or winning at the professional level than winning a college football national championship.
A college basketball championship is pretty damn cool.
It's awesome.
There's a national football championship is something better. At least in my opinion. It's not that the sport is better, though I do like football more than I like basketball. I think it's because it is so difficult in football to win the whole thing. And if you are a great football school, it carries a little more weight than it does being a great basketball school.
I'm just saying football is infinitely more popular to the casual sports fan than college basketball. It's not even close. I mean, people don't even know.
People love the tournament.
They don't know college basketball till March starts.
I would say the NCAA tournament overall is a better event than the college football playoff and championship game.
I would agree.
Just the event itself, because there are so many games going on, so many people are involved and have rooting interests and upsets and all of that stuff. There's excitement in the first 4 days. That's different. That's the spectacle. But winning a national football championship is a bigger deal, and football in this country is a bigger deal than basketball or any other sport by a wide margin.
Put yourself, and I know Mizzou fans have done this and Illinois fans have done this, and they're not exactly thrilled that this has happened to someone beside them, but I think that they certainly appreciate the moment to think about what that would mean. It's the biggest thing that I've ever experienced because, I love the pro teams. Obviously, I grew up here, but, it's your school. I mean, it's the one you walk the same paths as those guys. You never dreamed, if you're an Indiana football fan, that you'd be knocking on the door of a playoff spot, let alone winning a championship and obliterating Alabama and Oregon along the way, beating Ohio State, slaying the Dragon, and then playing Miami in its own stadium, by the way, and outnumbering them in terms of fans and winning a championship in front of everybody against the Miami Hurricanes. It was very, very special. I had an amazing time from start to finish. I did have some very special access that I appreciated. At one point, I found myself helping Mark Cuban to his suite because he didn't know where he was going. And I felt like an employee there with my credential and walking around.
Become an employee of his. Are you well paid?
Yeah. It was.
Did he give you his number?
No, we're not. It wasn't like that. But
I know what you.
I had met him very briefly before. We saw each other on the field. I was part of a few of us were standing around getting comments from him, and then I went into the media service area and I saw him with, I think it was his son. So he said to the security there, "How do I get back up to my suite?" And he said, "You have to wait for that elevator over there, sir." And it was the media elevator. He's like, "Oh man, it's a media elevator." And he said, "That's the fastest way up." He's like, "Oh, all right. Well, I guess." And then he said, "There is an escalator." And Mark's like, "Oh, okay," and kind of looked bewildered. And I said, "Hey, Mark, Tom Ackerman." He's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" "Yeah, I saw you out there." I said, "I know how to get you up there." So we just had this we walked to the escalator. We rode up together. I helped him to his suite. We had a great chat about being IU alums. Totally normal person, but all of us were the same at that point. We're all experiencing this phenomenon together.
You should have. You should have called him. I think you should have called him Zuckerberg. Like, "Hey, Zuckerberg, nice to meet you, man."
I should have said, Trump's in the house, right?
That's what he would have been.
Trump was right down the hall from him.
Yeah, they could have had a nice conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah, the president was there. But anyway, it was an amazing. And on top of it, Chris, it was a great football game. And we talked about this yesterday.
It was.
But it was one of the classic college football games. If I was there just as a sports fan and saw Alabama beat Miami for the national championship to go 16-0 and complete one of the great games in history, I would say, I can't believe I was there to witness greatness. And then the fact that it was my school, I'm still trying to process that happened, that I witnessed all of that. It was amazing. It really was. So I know we're going to talk about that later in the show, what the football landscape looks like. At the same time, it made me think about everything that's going on. With the Cardinals, I also tried to relate to that. And I thought, I think the Cardinals could go down that path. They need continuity. They need to be together and for everyone to be on the same page. I think for a long time, sports teams thought you could throw money at the problem, bring free agents in, bring this guy in, bring this guy in. Indiana has done that, but what they've done mostly is they've kept the same staff together. They had a lot of the players from James Madison come over and join. I think the Cardinals are onto something here. They've got to keep this roster of young people together, and they have to get them finally on the field together. No more patchwork. You got to bring these people out onto the field and find out what they have and be able to win and lose together and learn each other's strengths, both staff and players. And it has to happen now, and it finally has happened now. And I think it's overdue.
And then recognize, or have the ability to recognize, and hopefully sooner than later, if these younger players that it is now their turn have the ability to recognize whether or not they're actually it. Because giving them an opportunity to play does not necessarily mean that they are then going to blossom into good players. You're going to have to figure out, all right, it's just not happening for Nolan Gorman, or it's not happening for Jordan Walker. We're going to have to pivot here and figure out something else for the future. But what you're getting at, the very bottom line is, at some point, if the Cardinals want to be a legitimate contender, they're going to have to grow their own talent and have a core of that talent that's young, under control for a while, going to be around for a while, and then supplement it with really good free agents. That's how you do it. You can't just have free agents, or you can't just have homegrown players. You have to have a combination of the two. The Giants aren't all free agents and trades. There's a lot of that, but they've grown some of their own really good talent. And when necessary, they've used some of that talent in trades to acquire guys they really want, who are stars. They've done it a multitude of different ways. That's what the Cardinals have to be. You can't just completely dismiss the idea of signing a premier free agent if he fits, if he's young enough, if he's going to help you win. You don't dismiss it out of hand. But also, you don't just count on that. You got to develop some of your own players too. Every winning organization is able to develop some players. You might have a one-off every now and then. I think the Giants, if we go back and look at the mid-20 teens when they were pretty good, I don't think they had a ton of homegrown talent, did they? I mean, or am I misremembering? I think they might have had quite a few acquisitions.
Every team has to have a mix.
Right, but it's just not a sustainable way to do it normally. You have to grow some of your own talent.
Yeah.
You've got to do that, and then you have to be able to supplement it when they are ready to win. And this Cardinals team, and we've got a message here from KT who says, who's going to still don't have anybody who's going to hit 20 home runs in 2026 for the Cardinals. Yeah, this is not the season to be looking for a 20 home run hitter. You hope that one develops. You hope that one guy shows you that, hey, I've got power potential so you can use me for the future. This is not a season you go into expecting to win. They might, it's possible, but you're here to find out what you have. That's what this is all about.
Well, I appreciate KT's comment that he loves the Valley shirt. I am wearing a Missouri Valley Conference shirt. I'm calling Bradley
Love
Indiana
the Valley.
State tonight. I'll be heading to Peoria right after this show. So I appreciate that. I will disagree with you, though. I think, not you, Chris, necessarily, but KT, I think they will have players who will hit 20 home runs. I'll bet you Herrera does. I'll do it right now. Herrera will hit 20. Burleson will hit 20. And maybe Gorman hits 20 if he stays healthy and stays on track. There's 3 right there that will have 20 plus. If I'm wrong, then call me out. Beyond that, there will not be anybody. But those 3 have a very good chance of doing it. I think the Cardinals will add a veteran right-handed bat. I don't know who that is, but that is going to happen. I get that sense from Heim every time he's on. He tells me that he's going to do something when it comes to a versatile player. It sounds like an outfielder to me, who they can have with a right-handed bat who has some experience, who can bring some experience to the table. Because right now in that clubhouse, your experienced guys are Donovan, who's on his way out, Burleson, and not much more than that. There are a few. But somebody who's played all the time and is experienced, that's what they need. But no one who's going to block anyone. Just someone who can be a presence, who can bounce around to some other positions and be a presence in that clubhouse. In the pitching staff, they have it sort of. I mean, Dustin May has been around. Ryan Stanek has been around. Jojo Romero is kind of on his way out. He's, by the way, the longest tenured Cardinal, if I'm not mistaken, or at least in terms of pitching. So it's very, very thin right now on experience. But my point earlier is don't start patching teams with, and this is what they did in the past, with players just to fill spots or to have quote unquote, experience in the room. You got to let these young guys play and let them grow together. And I think that's what they're finally trying to do.
As long as you're not blocking a position where you've got a player who needs to play and get the reps, it's okay to bring in veterans just to have them around so they can, there's a benefit. It's not measurable, but there is a benefit to having a veteran or two in the clubhouse who can help guide younger players, help them figure out Major League Baseball. That's a good thing to have, I think. But my point about the power is that, yes, eventually this is a team that's going to have to bring some power back to the mix because they were one of the worst teams, one of the bottom 2 teams in home runs this past season. So they don't have to be number 1. You don't have to be top 10 even. You can win a bunch of games if you have 0 power, but you better pitch lights out. So you want to make that job easier for your pitching staff? You better have some power. What I'm saying is this isn't the year that you need to expect it. We're getting to that point. This is another transitional year or a year that's in part of the transition. This is not the season where they need to have a couple of 30 home run hitters and then go win the division. That's not what we're doing here. I mean, just being realistic about what the Cardinals are in 2026, this is not a team that's supposed to contend. They could happen, might happen. I don't really think it's going to. This is a season that you continue to find out what you have in-house.
I don't have any expectation for this team winning the division or coming close to it or winning more than a 500 record. I think they're below 500. I still expect a trio of 20 home run guys. That's what I want to see. I want to see power develop with this team. I want to see good swing and miss on the pitching side. I want to see all of it. Doesn't mean the record's going to reflect that they played winning baseball and that they won. I want to see players develop. And if a miracle happens and they all play so well that the other teams fall back and they start to make a run, well, that would be a miracle. To me, this is a team that I want to see playing a good brand of baseball. I want to see numbers improve. I want to see players get a full run of the season, and I want to see a rebuild starting right now into what will be 2028, a team that is knocking on the door of a playoff spot or more than that. That's my expectation. My expectation this year is not of advancing in the standings. I'm looking at a collective effort to win, but individual players getting better and better and getting the opportunity to play. That's what I want. This is Henry. Ooh, Henry's turning the corner a little bit. He's bought into the Bloom vision, but he does say it hurts to lose star players, and I agree with that, Henry.
This is Henry watching on YouTube?
I love Henry. Henry's always been right there with us. But, you know, it is bittersweet. I mean, there are no Hall of Fame players on this roster, and there always have been. Arenado's the last one.
That's right.
There aren't any.
So the Cardinals are going to have to grow one or find one.
They're going to have to, and they got to sell tickets somehow. So how do you sell tickets? Well, you got to get fans to turn the corner on what you're doing and explain to them and have them buy into that and latch on to some stars in the making. But you're going to have to eat it for a little while because, you know, they're not going to just come out blindly. I mean, they need to be led to why am I coming out to spend the money and spend the time to be with this team? Show them why. And that's the goal here moving forward with this club. I think it can be an exciting product again, but they had to cut out what they were doing before.
And real quick, in case you were wondering, just a couple of minutes ago, Jeff Passan with the news. Cody Bellinger, a 5-year contract with the Yankees.
Pretty good.
So that's another free agent, one of the big ones off the board now.
One of our prominent writers in town just texted me. He's not so sure that Gorman's going to hit 20. We'll see. We'll see, big boy. Back after this.
Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
When life happens and you need to sell your St. Louis area home, call trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria is St. Louis's real estate expert with more than 22 years of experience and expertise, helping you sell quickly and for the most money.
Selling your home can be so stressful, especially when life happens, like a sudden job change, a passing of a loved one, or a growing family. Knowing exactly how much your home will sell in today's market is the first step. Then I back it up with an upfront written guarantee. My guarantee is simple and easy to understand. If I can't sell your home at our agreed upon price and time frame, I'll buy it myself.
When life happens, the name to remember is Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. I strongly suggest you call her right now at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes.
See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely.
Face tattoo?
Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles your most trusted and #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2026. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis Service Valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2025. See dealer for details.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMWEX special. ZeroResSTL.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is Carol Daniel. I'm so proud to be part of KMOX's 100 years of broadcasting excellence. Congratulations.
Welcome to the show. Did Indiana make the right move with Cignetti?
They did not. Take a deep breath, Indiana. Let the season play out a little bit before you mortgage a guaranteed $93 million contract that you may have to figure out a way to pay for down the road.
Paul Feinbaum, is that the same guy who said he was going to move out of the country if the SEC didn't keep winning, or if the Big Ten won again, or whatever he said? I mean, has he surrendered by now? He has. I heard him later say that the Big Ten's better than the SEC. I mean, you talk about exposing people like Paul Feinbaum. You talk about exposing people like the guy on Barstool, I don't even know his name, who likes to chirp about college football and the SEC and all the stuff that you talked about. He picked everybody against Indiana he possibly could. I mean, it's amazing. It really is how they stomped on all of that nonsense over and over and over and over again. Even the great Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time, throws on a Miami hat before the game in Miami. And the only guy on College Game Day to pick Indiana still was Pat McAfee. It is amazing to me how much they can. It made me feel so good that nobody picked him except McAfee before the game, because it just fed into this theme that they were proving everybody wrong and that they rewrote college football history. I love it. I just absolutely love it. Paul Feinbaum. That, by the way, was a clip of when they offered him the contract extension. And what he doesn't understand, this is a Gashouse Gang, by the way, with Chris Ramsey and Tom Ackerman.
Hey, guys.
They didn't understand that the whole point was to keep the guy away from every other school and to give him what he wanted, which was to end his career in Bloomington. And for people to misread the whole movement of Indiana just was laughable to me. It was funny. Even a so-called expert like Paul Feinbaum, and Stephen A. Smith doesn't know college football either. I mean, let's be honest. Like guys like that are watching the NFL. They don't watch college football, but Feinbaum should know better.
Stephen A. doesn't even know the NFL. Why are we?
I don't know. Let's not get into that.
You don't want to get into Stephen A?
No, let's stay on track.
You don't want to get into him, why he walks down the tunnel in his suit before an NBA game like we're supposed to care what he's wearing?
He used to be a really good columnist in Philadelphia before he became this character. But anyway, the point is, it's funny the lack of acceptance, and now all's forgiven. Like nobody in Indiana cares and will ever care.
No, you shouldn't forgive. You should hold on to that grudge.
No, don't care.
Dude, let me tell you something, Tom. Ain't nothing like a grudge.
No.
It's fun.
Now
because then you can have
you raise the trophy.
Fun. You can have spite later on. Fun spite.
I'm all good, man.
Well, I'm just saying, if you ever want to hold a grudge against Paul Feinbaum, you can do that.
Rich Sermonello is going to be with us to talk some football coming up in just a little bit. Vice President of College Awards, the Maxwell Football Club. He's on SNY. He's an NFL draft analyst. He's a contributor to Sports Grid. He knows his football. He works with Phil Steele. He knows his football.
Here's a message from a 1976 graduate of Indiana who says, not only incredible, Indiana has the only undefeated football and basketball champions.
That is correct. On the 50th anniversary of the 1976 team, the last team to go undefeated, the football team is now 16-0. The last team to do that was Yale in 1894.
Wow. When there were only like 3 football teams.
When there were like 4 teams.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it is an exciting time, no doubt about it, from that standpoint. Let's talk some football with Rich Sermonello when we come back. That is on the Gashouse Gang. But right now, in this very moment, at 12:29 p.m. Central Time, I want to talk some football with Chris Ranji and FanDuel.
Yeah, let me tell you about FanDuel, who has been turning on playoff mode for the last several weeks because in the NFL, the divisional round, and then before that, the wild card round. Coming up this Sunday, it is Conference Championship Sunday, and all customers get a profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day, and that's been happening all month. And here's another one. You're going to find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the FanDuel app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. You're going to go with the underdog. You can do that. You can build a parlay if you're really feeling it this weekend. Personally, I'm really in on Seattle to cover at home against the Rams. That's going to be my pick. I think they do win that one. And you can apply that profit boost and go after even bigger payouts. FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. It's a great deal and a whole lot of fun. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life. Not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 0% financing for 60 months. $1,000 off plus a bonus vacation voucher. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Hey, it's not so bad out today, considering it had been pretty cold lately. 47 degrees and sunny. We're at the high now. We'll have a low of 22 overnight.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. RENNER.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
In afternoon programming for American radio. The program is called At Your Service.
Among those voices, Mike Kelly.
Kaufman at the 11. Kaufman hurdles man at the 5, fighting for the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri!
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
This is Mike Grimm, former host of the KMOX Sports Open Line. Congratulations to America's greatest radio station, 100 years strong as the voice of St. Louis.
He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and go diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! A century of futility is forgotten. The Indiana Hoosiers are the kings of college football.
On the Indiana University campus, they have what's called Showalter Fountain. It's located right in the heart of campus, and already the memes have come out of a statue of Fernando Mendoza diving to the end zone, replacing the statue in the middle of Showalter Fountain. But in reality, I think that's what the statue will be, the diving Mendoza, as they'll immortalize Mendoza, Kurt Signetti, and everything else that happened on Monday. Welcome back to the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd are our producers, and we're joined by Rich Sermonello, who has quite the resume. I was reading it earlier, Rich. I love all the things that you're affiliated with. SNY, I'm a huge fan. But on and on it goes. And on top of that, and I could just go right down the list, Maxwell Football Club, College Football News, Sports Grid. I love Phil Steele. I mean, you talk about the tradition of getting the college football magazine from Phil. Rich, it's great to have you on KMOX.
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for having me on. I would agree with you. Phil has been first a friend of mine over the past 10 years and have been working quite extensively with Phil for a little over a year now. So we're deep into the 26 magazine already, and good man and an icon when it comes to college football coverage.
That's awesome. Well, you do great work. And Rich, I was at the game on Monday, the run by Mendoza. Let's start there. Where does that end up in college football lore?
Yeah, I think that pose was something special. I think, I really was. I was very animated throughout this entire playoff. I thought it was special for a lot of reasons. That was sort of the exclamation point for the playoffs. Over the past couple of years, I've been doing some hand-wringing as we've seen the changing in college football, whether it's NIL, transfer portal, conference realignment. There's so many things that kind of run antithetical to what I think about traditional college football. Over the past couple of years, I thought, have we ceased seeing any kind of special runs or Cinderella type moves towards a national day? Will it always be Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, or some sort of amalgam of those blue blood programs? And I think what Indiana did and Kurt Signetti did and Fernando Mendoza did is very special. I don't know if we'll see it. I kind of hope that they provided a blueprint that runs counter to just a compilation of 4- and 5-star blue chippers, whether it's through recruiting or through the portal. But yeah, it was special. I think unless you're a Miami fan, I felt that the entire country really embraced this program. And again, it was encapsulated in that special fourth quarter run by Fernando Mendoza.
So in doing this, and I know we're trying to project how things will go over the last decade or the next decade or more, when you have a program like this kind of come out of nowhere, not kind of, they really did come out of nowhere and accomplish what they did, how much does this really open it up for other universities and other programs to have a legitimate chance? So it's not like you talked about Georgia and Alabama and schools like that every year.
I think that's a fantastic question because it's one I've thought about a lot. It was almost like, it's almost like Roger Bannister cracking that 4-minute mile. As soon as, some fantastic threshold is broken, it becomes just a little bit easier because someone has proven that it can be done. And so I think if you're a Power 4 program and you have the backing of boosters, or you might have just one or two, well-heeled boosters. We've seen that with Nike in Oregon. We might see that moving forward with someone like Mark Cuban in Indiana. Texas Tech stepped up in a big way, and that was a very good program. And that was a team that was, they were outclassed in the Orange Bowl by Oregon. I get it, but that was a powerhouse program out of the Big 12. So I think in this current landscape, if you have the support off the field and you have the right coach, I honestly think anything is possible. Now, I don't think it's going to be like this year after year. The Ohio States and the Alabamas and the Georgias, they have some just a real big advantage when it comes to tradition, facilities, money, prestige, pathway to the NFL. But I think what Indiana did shows that it is possible. And so I do think over the next decade, this won't be the last time we see a program that, might be a losing program historically or a former basketball program. And I think that's exciting. I think it's great for our sport.
Can I ask specifically about two teams of local interest? Missouri, with Eli Drinkwitz and the SEC getting closer, it seems, to breaking down that door, but can't get over the hump. And Illinois, who has had some resurgence under Brett Bielema, is seemingly right there to possibly get over that hump as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you hit on the key point. And will there be another Kurt Cignetti soon? I don't know. They're probably lurking out there. I mean, Kurt came from longtime assistant JMU before he got to Bloomington. So, there might be, could be a Bob Chesney who went, from JMU to UCLA now. Great coach who's a little bit off the radar from a national perspective. Those two schools have one of the most important things, and that is a really good head coach. So Eli remaining in Columbia. Brett Bielema's done a very nice job in Champaign, obviously knows the Big Ten extremely well. So it just takes that 1 year where you find the right quarterback, probably going to be through the portal. Brett did a really nice job with Luke Altmaier, not enough to get over the hump. Bo Pribula didn't quite work out for Missouri, but I have a lot of faith in both of those coaches. Tough conferences, but great universities, places that young men want to matriculate, great academic institutions. So, yeah, why not? I think these are Tier B type programs that can jump up on a given year and actually compete for a national championship.
So if it is a matter of those two programs making a leap of any kind, what has to happen other than a lot of good fortune in a given season to go along with the good coaching and hopefully good recruiting? Is it facilities improvements there? Is it something else? I mean, what does a school like Mizzou or Illinois have to do?
I'll follow, and I know we're all, a buzz about Indiana. So, and there's a lot of recency bias. I think a lot of times it really comes down to the coach, not just as an X's and O's guy, but someone who really resonates with young athletes, someone who might not be the biggest program. Maybe you're not even getting the biggest NIL deal, but that special personality that kids want to play for. I think Eli falls into that, even more so than a Brett Bielema. Nothing against, Coach Bielema, but Eli Drinkwitz, I think, is a special all-around individual. So I think if you have that kind of a magnetic personality, someone that kids want to play for, I think that's a key. And then one other thing I want to point out about Indiana, I've used this analogy a couple of times on the air this fall. I do think it applies. If you go back to a different sport, baseball, if you go back to the Red Sox a generation ago, 2004, that type of a team, which wasn't, that wasn't star players, Keith Millars, those types of players. I thought Kurt Cignetti and that staff, Brian Haynes, Shanahan, the two coordinators, I thought they did a brilliant job of not just getting quality football players, but great fits for their program. So it all begins at the top with the head coach, the right personality, and then finding the right fits. That's what I loved so much about this Indiana national championship. It was not littered with 4- and 5-star kids. You know, D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback, who had a great postseason, 5'9", from Florida, began his career at JMU. You had kids from Navy, or Elijah Hardy, the linebacker. You had kids from the MAC and Kent State. I love to see that. So it was a great fit for their program, and it worked.
It did indeed, and they are national champions. And now Fernando Mendoza, who is likely to be the number 1 pick in the draft, will be replaced by Josh Hoover, coming from TCU. But let me ask you, let me advance this to the NFL draft real quick. Is he the slam dunk number 1? Are the Raiders taking Fernando Mendoza, you think?
You know, I wouldn't say slam dunk. We've learned over the years that so much changes when we go into the pre-draft process. Quarterbacks obviously are going to get a much higher premium when it comes to the NFL draft. Raiders need a quarterback, as we know. Dante Moore deciding to go back to Oregon really made it far more likely that Mendoza would be the first quarterback taken. I think so. I think he's a great fit for an organization. I'm not sure if over the last 5 years, I don't think he would have been the top quarterback taken in most of the last 5 drafts. I'm not sure if he's a championship quarterback at the NFL level, but great kind of kid to build around, great personality. I think he'll do really well in a locker room. I do think he'll be first overall. But again, this is not the greatest draft when it comes to quarterbacks, and I think that's an advantage for Mendoza as well.
We are talking to Rich Sermonello about college football now, and it has been a historic season with Indiana doing what it has done. And part of the reason, and you mentioned this already, is because of the transfer portal. They were able to, take advantage of that. And for a lot of coaches, it's causing very big headaches. For others, it is an opportunity for them, to figure something out and to build a program. I think all of us watching, though, feel like it can be, somehow it can be legislated that it's not so chaotic. What would have to happen in order for this whole process to not be so insane the way it seems?
Yeah, I think we took one step in the right direction in having one window, which closed earlier this month, January 2nd to the 16th. In the past, as you know, post-spring was another portal and another round of chaos. I'm glad we have limited that down to one. That's going to help. Man, in terms of legislation, I'm usually good at this. I feel like I've always come up with ideas that perhaps could be a little bit prescient when it comes to the sport. I don't think I have one for this. I think if we try to over-legislate, I think it could get even messier, and we could have lawyers involved, which is not something I want to see when it comes to the sport. But I don't know. We're never going back to the era of having to sit out a year for transferring. You remember that well, I'm sure. That was a deterrent to heavy amounts of transferring. I don't know how we put this genie back in the bottle, but I don't think it's great for the sport. And I'm sure you've seen, and a lot of your audience has seen, that of the thousands of kids at all levels that entered the portal, thousands still haven't found a spot yet. And so I think that's something that might naturally cause caution in the future. But I think this is where we're going to be for the next few years. And again, I don't think it's great for the sport. I often don't think it's great for the kids. For every success story like Fernando Mendoza, there are others where kids are now out of school, not getting degrees, no longer playing football because they left and could not find a new home.
It's great to visit with you, Rich. Rich Sermonello has been with us from a variety of places, but I love the Maxwell Football Club as the VP of College Awards and SNY and an NFL draft analyst, a frequent contributor to many. We hope that you are back again on the Gashouse Gang here on KMOX. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, really appreciate the invite, and let's do it again before the draft.
Great to talk some football with you. Let's do that. Rich Sermonello with us on KMOX. We'll come back and talk about the Hall of Fame. Here's a question. If Andrew Jones has been elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Should it? Jim Edmonds? Back after this.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries.
For an office near you.
Tom Ackerman here. Got to tell you, the best car dealership I've ever walked into is Genesis of St. Charles. They're located at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That is right off I-70 at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. You are going to love the offerings at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit them online, genesisofstcharles.com. You're going to find the E-price. When you unlock the E-price, that upfront pricing, you're going to be very happy. No games, no gimmicks. They want your trade as well. They were willing to pay more for it on any new Genesis purchase. Don't wait. Now is the time to visit Genesis of St. Charles, your premier Genesis dealer, the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri. You can buy online at genesisofstcharles.com, and you're going to be very happy when you walk into the dealership. It is spectacular. Genesis of St. Charles. genesisofstcharles.com.
Start your engine, St. Louis. The St. Louis Auto Show is back, and it's bigger, faster, and more exciting than ever. See the latest cars, trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles, all at the America Center January 22nd through 25th. From cutting-edge technology to luxury rides and family favorites, this is the ultimate auto experience. Whether you consider yourself a car enthusiast or not, this event has something for everyone. More information at KMOX.com/events.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for HeatUpSt.Louis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1
at participating area Hardee's.
It's HeatUpStLouis.org to also pre-order. That's HeatUpStLouis.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, overhead door company of St. Louis, on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Batting fifth and playing right field from the St. Louis Cardinals, Carlos Beltran.
That's pretty cool having Carlos Beltran on your team. That was 2013, and before that, 2012. That was 2012 right there, right? 2012, Joe Buck with that announcement. Beltran was a tremendous player. The Cardinals added him in a swift and I don't want to say panicky move, but they lost a pretty good one in Albert Pujols to free agency when he signed with the Angels. So they needed to come back with a big name in the middle of the order, and they landed Carlos Beltran. All they did was go to the playoffs, and then the next year they went to the World Series, lost in 6 games to the Red Sox. Very happy for Carlos. He was a great Kansas City Royal and then a great New York Met. He was frozen by Adam Wainwright in 2006 in the NLCS. Then he ended up being his teammate and became a great Cardinal and went on to start him with some others. Anyway, he goes into the Hall of Fame. I thought all along that Andrew Jones should be in the Hall of Fame. He had the numbers to back that up. He gets in, Chris. But my question is, if Jones is in, should Jim Edmonds be in? When you look at their numbers, they are strikingly similar. I mean, it's scary, actually, how similar they are. And Edmonds has got him in hits, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, OPS plus. He's just shy of him. Looks like 41 home runs shy of him and about 90 RBIs shy of Andrew Jones and 2 Gold Gloves shy. 10-8.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Those numbers are maybe Jones is in just because you can make the argument he's the best defensive center fielder ever. I mean, the guy was unbelievable in that regard. In wins above replacement, there were a couple of seasons where he was like barely behind A-Rod, who was one of the best players in the game and probably should be a Hall of Famer, but the PED stuff keeps him out, right? I don't know that you would necessarily say, well, if Andrew Jones is in, then obviously Jim Edmonds is in. I don't know that that's the I don't know that that's the comparison you make. I think you could just say Edmonds probably should be in the Hall of Fame or has a really good case for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you say because Jones is in, therefore Jim should be in too.
And I'm certainly not, but I am raising the question, and it is worth asking. Wins above replacement WAR for his career, Andrew Jones, 62.7. Jim Edmonds?
Just a little behind.
60.4. And has something that Andrew doesn't have is a world championship. But Jones is very deserving, and Edmonds, I think, deserves that consideration. Just something to think about. A little something for Jimmy Ball.
It'll have to happen down the line because he can't be voted in now.
What's up, Jimmy? In case you hear this. Thanks for joining us on the Gashouse Gang. It's great to be with Chris Ranji always.
I'll be back tomorrow with Bernie.
I can't wait. I'll be listening.
12 o'clock.
With Matt Pajeski, Chris Ranji, Tom Ackerman. Thanks to Rich Sermonello for joining us, and thank you to the Indiana Hoosiers. So long, everybody.